If you're ready to take back control of your health, you are in the right place. Welcome to Awaken Wellness with me, Tanya Candy, registered nurse and health coach. Now, I'm not your typical nurse. I consider myself divorced from traditional healthcare. I broke free of the sick care system in 2019 when I realized that the root cause to my sickness, my autoimmune disease, and my chronic pain was me. If you're ready for truth, for clarity, for honesty in a tough, love, compassionate way, I'm the coach for you. Join me while we dig into our root causes of sickness and disease. Hello, Facebook and YouTube community. It's me, Nurse Tanya. I have been missing in action for a few weeks. You know how that is when you've got like a really solid routine? You're showing up for yourself, you're doing all the things, and then, it just doesn't take much, whether it's your correct food plan, whether it's your exercise plan, just a little bit of life happens and like you're off track. I don't know about you, but this is something that will be something I'm constantly revisiting. That's something I'm constantly needing to secure, to be firm in. And that my live streams was one of the things that I had been so good and routine about. And somewhere along the line, my daughter was here visiting and something else and something else. And now it's been like a few weeks. So I know I'm nobody famous. I'm just Nurse Tanya. I live in a small town. I have a really cool store called Awaken Wellness. I do functional health. I see clients. We look at labs. But a lot of times when I'm here live, I feel like, who's hearing me? Who is my audience? Is anybody really tuning in? So I'm in that point of doing all this that I need to do it for one person who's listening, just like I would do it for thousands and thousands of people that are listening. So that's part of my commitment to myself. It's important to me, and I need to get back on track. May. I love the month of May. I love spring. I love the forward movement. So I still, like, even at my age, feel like spring gets me all Twitter-pated. So I'd love to hear from you on the replay, in the comments. Are you a almost like a seasonal defective disorder? I don't get depressed, like, really, but I really get motivated in the spring. I've got some really amazing things going on this month that I hope you will get in tune for, that you would get involved in. I made some Facebook group events, so that's the first part of the planning stage. They're going to be local in our community. I do plan on live streaming at least the one in Williston. So get out your schedules, get ready to be there. If you're in the Sydney community, we're going to have 2 peptide events in Sydney. I secured, it's called the Parlor. So it's a little coffee and ice cream spot in Sydney. That's where we're going to meet. It's just called the Power of Peptides. So it's not going to be deep education. It's going to be pretty surfacey, kind of help you if you're interested in peptides, figure out where you fit into that and what might be beneficial to you. They'll start at 6 p.m. in the evening. I do have quite a few people here locally that are working with me in this endeavor that will be inviting their friends and their family. So it's just going to be a maybe about an hour long. It's just going to be live. We're just going to have a real conversation. So I'd love it if you come out for that. And then the other thing that I've got in the works is going to be a health fair. I think that's a great name for it. It is, oh, what did I come up with the name for it? I'll look it up here on my Facebook events. What did I call it? I called it Mondack Wellness Uncovered. So this is going to happen over in Williston at the Arc. I've got a room rented. I've got some fellow health enthusiasts that have got little businesses like similar to mine who will be there as vendors. So it's going to be a little bit different than like a vendor show. I will bring over my Flowpresso and my PEMF. So I'll be doing free demonstrations of my Flowpresso. And then I call it a nervous system reboot with the PEMF. I'll be offering that. I've got a friend who has got another PEMF device. She'll be offering demonstrations. Who else? I've got a few people that aren't quite committed yet, but one of the gals does breast screenings with a 3D ultrasound. She's from Williston. I'm hoping she'll be able to be there and be able to take appointments live that day. So that would be a paid service, but what a better opportunity to get that done. So each of the people that are coming, the vendors, will also be doing educational talks to really tell you about their business and why it matters, how what they offer can benefit you. So I always feel like that's the part of a vendor show that I don't love, is that you don't really get to have a whole lot of a conversation, or you don't really get to have that education piece. So we're going to be doing that. I call it TED Talks, I guess. I don't know what else to do it. Call it. Each person will have their TED Talk opportunity. And then at 6 p.m. will be the main event, and that again will be a Power of Peptides presentation. So I will be advertising, I will be inviting the community to come out and see how they can move forward with their health and wellness plan with some help from these amazing individuals. So that's going on. That is exciting enough. And then I will be going to training in Boise right in between those events. So that is exciting. I've been going to that training. Golly, this might be my 8th year, I think. Can that be possible? Boy, if not, it's close. I bet at least 7. And that's amazing. What I love about it, last year I had a plan. I knew that the vendor that has the Flowpresso, that lymphatic therapy machine that I have, I knew they would be there, and I was ready to buy it. I had saved aside the cash for it. I had moved things around, so I had room for it, and I knew I wanted it. I had tried their demonstrations the last few years. So this year when I go, I don't know what I'll find. I don't have room for more equipment at Awaken Wellness. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's always some amazing something there that tempts me outside of hearing what's going on in the industry. So it is put on by Cellcore Biosciences, which has been one of my foundational product lines ever since Awaken Wellness was born. So it's 3 days worth of speakers and education brought by the I always say my mentors in the industry, in functional health, in detox, in root cause. So it's awesome. And just being there in the room with like-minded people who who are not crazy, who know that chemtrails are a thing, that who knows all of this stuff, and it's a safe space where we can have those conversations and enjoy each other's company. So that is going to be amazing. Other updates at Awaken Wellness. That's kind of what this live is all going to be about, is just catching up on things. This is our 7th year in business, so I kind of have that 7-year itch, and taking what I've learned over the past 7 years, really gleaning back, doing my own pruning, right? So we know if we want anything to grow, we need to really assess it. We need to look at what's working. We need to look at what is dead weight, what's not working, and prune things back in order to grow. So that is exactly what I've been implementing in May. I'm really, really simplifying. So I still use bioenergetic scans by request. That's no longer going to be the foundation of what I do. The way I had been doing things for a few years, that first new client consultation was a big, overwhelming process. It took about 2 hours, and a lot of people just got overwhelmed and they didn't feel like they were in a place that they could follow through. And that's really true. And it's hard, like doing things the Awaken Wellness way or the root cause way, the functional health way. It's always going to cost you more in time and food and supplements than it does just to live the way the rest of the world lives, right? So I'm really worked out a brilliant plan, and so far I love how it's going. Where I'm peeling it back to the basics, back to blood work as a start, instead of the energetic scans as a start. So in general, to meet people where you're at, blood work we can see in black and white. And the bulk of my clients, when they come in, they've already been seen by the medical community. They've already been told what it's not. They mostly have been told they're fine and they're normal. And if it's weight that's the issue, or hormones, or whatever, they should just eat less and move more. And they've done that, and it's not working. So that is primarily why people come to see me at Awaken Wellness, is so we can start peeling back the layers of that onion or that jawbreaker and try to figure out the root of why they're feeling depleted, why they have no energy, why their hormones are out of balance, why they can't lose that 15 pounds no matter what they try. So I use a really amazing software program that I plug in those labs of yours. Even if you just have basics like your birthday labs that you do once a year, that can get us going. That can get us started. I plug those in, and then your review, I call it a root cause review. You sit down with me with those labs that you already have possession of, and I give you a optimal function perspective. So we don't really care what's normal and what's not normal on your markers report, because one, you were already told, well, there's a little red on this report, but it's really not a big deal, right? You're still fine. There's not enough wrong here to give you a diagnosis, or there's not enough wrong here to give you a diagnosis or a medication. So I look at it from a functional perspective, looking at nutritional deficiencies, looking at your diet and lifestyle, and what we can just clean up just a little bit to put you back in the driver's seat of your health trajectory. A lot of my clients, I don't think they really realize, and this might be you as well, that part of your root cause for your depletion is a underlying fear, a a fear of becoming your family health history. So, like when you sit in the clinic and they start asking what diseases your grandparents had and if your parents are alive and what was wrong with them. And we hear so many people just in average everyday talk saying things like, well, my grandma had breast cancer, so I'll probably have breast cancer. Or all of my aunts and uncles have type 2 diabetes, so I will probably have type 2 diabetes. My main goal in life is to change your stinking thinking and pull back that fear. You are so much more in control of your health outcomes than you realize. When we talk about our family health history, when we talk about genetics, obviously there's things like your skin color and your hair color and your stature and things like that that you can't change. But there's a huge part of your genetic code that, in easy to understand terms, is more like light switches. Things that can be tripped on and can be tripped off by lifestyle choices, by food choices, by activity, by how we treat our bodies. So, and we hear of things all the time like autoimmune disease or like food sensitivities or allergies. Like you hear people saying, I've eaten onions my whole life and now all of a sudden I'm allergic to onions. Well, like a light switch, something got tripped on for a reason. Those things are happening inside your whole terrain, like inside your whole body. It all works together. I always think of it like as like slivers on a haystack, right? And we keep piling up and piling up and piling up, and then boom, something happens, something changes. Maybe you got a big fever or a viral attack, or something is going on in the immune system. Like all these things, big picture, are they're part of everything. We can't isolate one little problem, but the body can heal. So the layers and layers of toxins, of bacterial, viral, parasite, all of those burdens in our body. Some of us have our slow methylators. Maybe we have some genetic mutations, again, like those light switches. So if your body doesn't optimally detox, even like when we think of vaccine injury, some people it happens to, some people don't. The difference isn't the vaccine, the difference is that body and how it is set up to clear those things that are put into it. So that's the real difference. The real difference is that individual body and how it processes. So again, we start with a root cause review. If you need help getting labs, that's something that we can do at Awaken Wellness. We can, even if you're distance, we've got a really cool newer product. It's called a BioBox, but it is somewhat like a continuous blood sugar monitor. Really, it's just got a little thing that you pop on your arm and it fills up a vial of blood. So I like to get quite a bit of information. So if you choose to do that, you're going to need 2 of those kits. But my lab company that I use, it ships right to you, so it's super convenient. Or we can do labs at Awaken Wellness. We can take care of that. We can draw it. We can spin it. We can make it work. Sometimes it's great right out of the gate to get more information. So to take your birthday labs and get a few things that they don't usually do, like an A1C, they don't usually do an insulin. There's not a whole lot of metabolic information there. So that has been amazing. I've had such a great month. Um, kind of refining and simplifying, bringing down the cost, bringing down the time. So, getting started with me is not such a big investment at this point. Once we get your functional report together, then I'll let you know what is the next best step that makes sense for you. So, usually that looks like a series of appointments where we need a little bit more information. We need to start working on a few things. And that has just been beautiful and seamless. It's a much more doable way of taking control of your health. So I'm really glad that I just said, put the brakes on. Let's rework this. Let's simplify. Let's prune back some things. So that has been amazing. What else? In June, I go to an event in Texas for our peptide telehealth provider. So that's going to be exciting. I will have a lot more to bring you after that. The peptide scene is wild right now. Like, and it depends on what your algorithm looks like. Maybe you're seeing it, maybe you're not. I am seeing a lot of it. The company that I work for is really securing their place in the scene as the best of the best. One thing that I love about them is all of their peptides will be sourced in the United States, compounded in licensed compounding pharmacies where they're inspecting, where they're filtering, where the standards and the quality is the utmost. They are prescription. So there is a functional health provider who is putting their license behind it. And why this makes a difference, and maybe you don't even know the difference, like on the peptide scene, the peptide scene used to really be in the professional athletes and like bodybuilders and things like that. And we're seeing more and more of it mainstream now because people are getting amazing results. People are talking about it. People are making noise. People are seeing results, with old joint injuries or soft tissue damage that is keeping them out of the OR. So it's becoming a bigger and bigger ordeal, bigger topic, and it's always going to be controversial, and it's going to continue to get more controversial because the results people are getting are cutting out the medical industry in a lot of different ways, whether it's postponing or being able to opt out of a joint surgery. When people lose weight, they come off of medications. When people lose weight, they no longer need blood pressure medications a lot of times. They no longer need other medications like metformin a lot of times. And so there's always going to be a lot of controversy. Each and every one of us as an individual, as a consumer, is going to have to make our way through those muddy waters to figure out what's what. And that's why I was super picky about who I partnered with for my telehealth provider. The quality matters so much. Within the United States, staying within manufacturing guidelines, that all really matters. All that to say, there's a lot of peptides out there that they call it gray market or even black market. And that is like peptides that you can get, even that they're going to be injectable. They come in a little powdered form in a little vial, and you have to buy the sterile water and you have to mix it. And you're really kind of left to guess or to follow some social media influencer about what your dose should be and that kind of thing. They're mostly made in China. They they are not filtered. So whatever extra particles are in that powder, you're injecting and you don't know what it is. So before I partnered with my telehealth provider, I really didn't even know that was a thing because I don't operate in that world. Bodybuilding, those bodybuilders, they are science savvy. Like they know how to enhance performance at levels I don't even comprehend when they start talking. It's like they're speaking a foreign language. So there's a lot out there that, they have been trying. And a lot of this is not necessarily studied. You're not going to find a bunch of medical studies, but you are going to find people giving their results. And you will find some negative, absolutely. You'll find, even in the people who I've helped sort through some of this and they've tried some of the products. I've got some that have had miraculous improvements. And then I've had others that are like, well, that didn't work for me either. So especially when it comes to some of the peptides, like BCP 157 slash TB 500. Now that one helps soft tissue and our body does make it. So the peptides themselves are replicated. They are, I guess you'd call synthetic or bioidentical, right? They don't come from human samples. It's not like that. They are amino acids, so they're in the amino acid family. That BCP itself is super helpful to the gut, to leaky gut. So sometimes if somebody was taking that for like shoulder pain or joint pain and they don't think it helped that area, there's a good chance it was helping their gut with problems that they're not really aware of or they're not really in tune with, but there's things that need to be fixed. So sometimes with the peptides, most of them you do like a 2-month cycle, then you take a break and see how your body reacts, and then you can cycle on them again. So sometimes, it is disappointing that you need multiple cycles before that gets to your joint or the thing that you were hoping that it would help you with. So it's not magic, and the thing is your body still gets to decide. And most of the time, people who are willing to spend money on peptides, they're expensive, are people who already are doing above average things for themselves, right? They've already, gotten a lot of carbs and sugar out of their diets. They're already eating natural foods and avoiding processed foods and those kind of things. So the market of people, one, who can afford peptides, and two, know what to do with them or know what to do them, know how to use them, it's kind of a specialty niche. It really is. But I've been super surprised about how many of my clients are there, and I never would have guessed. So that just goes to show we can't assume things about people. That I've made that mistake plenty in the past, in personal life or in business. I just can't assume what a person is willing to try or what a person is willing to buy. And a lot of times we are motivated by extremes, by extreme pain, by an extreme circumstance where we really have tried about everything that we can humanly do, and we cannot lose this 15 to 30 pounds or whatever it is. So people are willing to try a tool like a GLP-1. They're willing to pull that trigger. So that's something that I'm always, when somebody walks in the door at Awaken Wellness, we always keep a completely open mind. When they walk in, we have no idea what their knowledge base is. We have no idea if they're completely against taking pharmaceuticals, or if they're never really heard of doing things differently. So that's fun. Every day is fun. Getting to know the people who walk in the door. At Awaken Wellness, we do have a open store, an open shop. So you don't have to be personal client of mine. You don't have to be doing holistic coaching with me to come in and shop or to come in for a healing treatment. We have got an amazing Flowpresso, is what it's called. If you haven't tried it yet, you are missing out. It's a full body compression suit that moves your lymphatic and your micro circulation. It's great for your nervous system. It's highly relaxing. We do either 20 minutes is beneficial, 40 minutes is therapeutic. And then we still do PEMF. We've been doing PEMF. I've been doing PEMF. It's what kept me from having herniated disc surgery. I had a herniated discs in my neck and in my back when I started knowing that really the root cause, the root cause of my chronic pain, I had chronic headaches, IBS, fibromyalgia, points, and herniated discs. And when I really got my head around the fact that the root cause of all of this chronic stuff was me. It was me at the root of the root. It wasn't Epstein-Barr virus. It wasn't, riding horse and hurting my back. It wasn't all those years of cheerleading and being a good base and lifting my teammates. The root was me, was my thoughts, my toxins, and then through testing, find out I've got all the strikes against me genetically, the MTHFR mutation, the really slow COMT genes, and all that. So my body, when it comes to detox, is on the struggle bus. I have got to use the exact right supplements and nutritional support for my liver to be able to do what it needs to do. And once I found out all those keys, way back then I was using PEMF. That really works on your mitochondria. So we know that any chronic disease, it's happening at a cellular level. That we have to address the cells, what is going on at a cellular level. So that PEMF really was a key in helping to get those herniated discs shrunken back down. So yeah, the PEMF, I've had that system forever. It has treated me very well. A few years ago, I added a red light. So we've got a high power clinical red light that is overhead, and then you lay on the PEMF mat, and then you do both sides. So that's in the healing room. Then we also do ionic foot bath, which is professional grade, so we can control how strong it is. And I've got another ionic, it's not ionic, sorry, I almost spoke. It's like a radio wave foot detox that is pretty intense. That one I only offer to my experienced clients who have done a lot of cellular work, a lot of detox work, and who I know pretty well. So that machine is a little intense. That one is, I do rent that out because you kind of really, to get the full effect, should do 10 days in a row, and it's super hard to make appointments. I know I'm not going to be able to accommodate somebody's schedule to get into Awaken Wellness 10 days in a row. So we do have some things that we release on home use to our trusted clients, not just anybody who walks in the door. We're really creating a family at Awaken Wellness. We've got a monthly apothecary class. So that happens generally on the first Saturday of the month, but like in July, that happens to be the 4th of July. So it'll be the second Saturday. You can find all of this information on our website. So that is awakenwellnessllc.com. Things like the apothecary class, services, schedule. There's a tab called brick and mortar. So that is where all of those things, the store hours, all of that good stuff is located. Another tab you might want to take a look at is our resources. Under the resource tab, I have got so many freebies that you can click on, that you can take advantage of if you're, just wanting to try doing something different, if you're ready to start dabbling and take back control of your health. Check out that resources tab. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, I do work virtually or in person. Virtually works awesome. It works amazing. I do have a intensive 4-month program called the Great Health Reset, which is not for the weak at heart. That is for serious, motivated people who want to do cellular level detox and parasite cleanse, who want to do emotional work, who want to do mindset work, and who want to really understand what is going on in their body. That is all video modules. It's closed right now. It opens up again in September. So that used to be open evergreen, and it was just draining my energy. It was too much for me. So I have got that only going on 2 times a year. So in September and then again in March, I believe. So if you're interested in doing that, it's a really cool class. The structure of that, like I said, it is 4 months, and it's intense, but it will change your life entirely. Will change your life. If after the 4 months, if you want to go on and go deeper, if your body isn't still where it needs to be, then we do go deeper, and there is a second level to that. With that, it is group coaching. So I don't work with you individually, but we will meet every Friday morning, I think is probably what we'll do this next round. I've tried different times. There's never a perfect time for everybody, but we do meet once a week as a group and just share if somebody's stuck or having problems. I usually do a little teaching. We try to keep progress journals and really be mindful of what we're doing. So that's the group coaching part of it. I will soon be launching a group program that is not as intense. It goes off the root cause reset that we're doing now. So you would first start with labs and that root cause review, and then you would migrate into a 6-week program. And during that 6 weeks, we also would meet over Zoom once a week as a group for the accountability part of it. And it's a lot faster. It's only a 6-week commitment. Most of the people who are going to want to be in that program, I'm guessing, are primarily females. I would say 40 to 50 years old, and who are wanting to lose up to 30 pounds, not in 6 weeks, of course, but it will be a foundation. We will do some metabolic testing, and then we will really talk a lot about GLP-1 use in that group and peptides as well. So if you're interested in some support, and if you're scared to use like trizepatide, semaglutide, um, I would be there to help support you and to really look at the difference in dosing. When we see people who have had problems with those peptides, it's generally because they are have been overdosed, especially if they've been using the brand names. They've been overdosed and they're just not been mindful of their nutrition. So, just like if someone was to really fast for an extended period of time, the same things would happen. You would start to have hair loss, you would have muscle loss, all those same things would happen. It's not necessarily that the peptide is making it happen, what but the peptide is making people not eat. So that is the big deal. One of our favorite products to for support is the aminos, the pure is it pure aminos, perfect aminos. That is the amino acids and electrolytes. So they have a product where they've got your electrolytes plus your like 30 grams of protein in those already broke down, easy to use for your body amino acids. Another thing that people don't realize is anybody, whether you're using these peptides or not, the protein that you eat, especially from an animal source, has got to be broke down in the stomach before your body can use it. So if you have low stomach acid, if you're on a proton pump inhibitor, those things are really hindering your body from optimizing whatever protein you're eating. So these things just become more apparent for people who are using peptides. We always say you want to try whatever your target weight is. That's about how much protein grams you should be aiming for in a day. So if you want to weigh 150 pounds, you should be trying to eat 150 grams of protein. Now, I know I always even sound and feel like a hypocrite when I say that because that is so hard. It's hard for me to practice what I preach. Um, and I know that is one of my stalls in my own personal progress. So, to put that in perspective, like a third of a pound hamburger has 30 grams of protein. So, that's that's a lot, right? That is a lot of 30-pound or third pound hamburgers. If you were shooting for 150 grams, that's 5 hamburger patties. So I know, let that sink in. That is the and that might be your problem even if you feel like you've been doing everything right to try to lose weight. You're calorie restricting, you're exercising, you're doing all those things. How much protein are you eating? And maybe that's part of it. It's a lot. It's a lot. Our body needs that in order to feel safe. Um, it does. The more muscle you have, the better your metabolic rate is. So there's all of that, and in different seasons at different ages, our body just reacts different. We're constantly having to get to know our own body again in every next stage of your life as your hormones change, as you age. So, just I guess I just want to say keep an open mind as to what you thought you knew, and always be thinking if what you're doing isn't working, then what else is there? What can you try? What can you do? And there's so much controversy about the GLP-1s and about the peptides. And so many people up in other people's business and judging, and they get so fired up on social media, whether they're for it or against it. And at the end of the day, you do you, right? And at Awaken Wellness, we really strive to not be judgmental, to be supportive, and to have open, two-sided conversations, no matter what the subject is, right? We're not here to um, be prejudiced or to change people's minds or to make anybody feel bad. We're here to support people at the level they're at today, and to hopefully to coach them and to support them to become the best version of themselves, which is not an overnight process. It's something that, as long as we wake up to a new day, is something that we're always in the process of becoming. So again, if you're live or if you're on the replay, we appreciate your support so much, more than you'll ever know. Every like, every share, every follow matters so, so very much. Always stay tuned. Where I post the most is on my business Facebook page. So to keep in touch with what's going on in the store, keep tuned into that Facebook page. Where I do more of like the peptides and personal stuff is on my personal Facebook page. So we appreciate you so much, and we'll see you on the next live.